today from Ward 9 is Tommy Siam. Tommy, how you doing? It's been about a year. You've been on the council. You're settling in, getting the groove down.
Yes, doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good. Well, you know, we've finally started to have kind of some pickup in our last two meetings, a little bit meatier of an agenda. A lot of this kind of ended up going through what we had talked about a couple weeks ago. But let's just take off and start talking about the public hearings for tonight's council meeting. Okay. The first one was a request to authorize an amendment to a B5 ordinance. This is for the addition of an existing building at 620 Charbonnier Road. If I'm right, this is for a used car dealership. They've got a building. They're expanding it out. They need to add on a couple more office spaces.
Yes, it's the one located next to the. It's the one located next to the Waffle House, the car dealer there, and they're adding a little bit onto the back of the building.
Well, that business has been expanding and growing over the years quite a bit in the city of Florissant. I think they own multiple properties, and that one, you know, there's old Iggy's facility that has had a variety of different tenants over the years, but they're really doing a good job of making that look better.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've gotten a request to authorize an amendment. This is a special use permit to allow for the expansion of Club Fitness. Now, Club Fitness took over the old Michael's facility, and I think we had all hoped for the day where they would expand out even further and take over the Petco, and that's what's happening.
Yes, that's what's happening today. And there were some concerns, I guess, that maybe the parking might not be enough and everything, but I guess, Councilman Jones met with them, the petitioners here, and he's satisfied that the parking will be sufficient and everything. So, I mean, it looks great. It'll be a bigger gymnasium for everybody here in the city. I think it will be very helpful for us. So.
The owners said they don't really expect a growth in membership from it, but maybe a better retention and just giving their existing members more space. So something that the existing members have probably been asking for.
Yeah, there will be more space for their exercise facilities inside and everything, so it's all good.
There's another public hearing tonight. These next two actually end up going hand in hand. The first one is a zoning code change to allow for a brew pub. It's special use permit in B, HB, and M zoning districts. Planning and zoning recommended approval. You know, Phil Lum came in, he's the commissioner, to speak about the ability for Florissant to have a brew pub and what a brew pub would mean for Florissant.
Yes, he did come and he spoke to us, and basically because we didn't have this in our city code at this time, so in order to be able to allow Cugino's to be able to do this, we had to amend our city code. So.
And Cugino's, that's the next piece. That was the next public hearing. They're the ones they came forward after that zoning change for a special use permit, so that way they could do this brew pub. They're looking at, I think it was maybe doing about 300 barrels using a basement part of their facility that they have now. So the restaurant shape and stature, that's not going to change.
No.
They're really not going to need any additional parking, but this will allow them to brew, sell, and distribute a little bit their own microbrewery.
Right, and it'll help them expand their business, which, I mean, as far as we're concerned, can only be a good thing, so.
Well, they've got probably the most beers on tap, obviously, of anybody in Florissant. They'll cut those back a little bit to showcase their own.
That's right. Didn't one of the council members ask how many they had? And
I
they
think
said
it was
they had
56.
Yeah. And they said they might lose some because of this, but not a whole lot,
Well,
so it's still
they've got to have space for their own.
Right, exactly.
So we look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
All four of these public hearings had a first reading tonight. And the zoning code change, that went for 2 readings tonight, but it will see a 3rd reading at the next meeting. I presume the Cugino's will see a 2nd and a 3rd the next meeting, and then they'll be able to start operating.
I think that's pretty safe to assume. Yeah, I mean, we have reservations about doing a public hearing and 3 readings in one night. I mean, we feel like it might be going too fast. We might not be giving the citizens enough transparency if we do things like that, or, it may not. It may not look good, that kind of thing, even if we're confident about it. And mistakes could happen if we rush it through that way. So it's good to be able to take our time with as much transparency and for the public to be able to view it as much in the sunlight as possible.
Right. So that's why if you've got any issues or comments that you'd like to make on the subject, you've got the next council meeting, you can come in here and talk about that. But I do think probably the city as a whole is looking forward to having our own microbrewery.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's go through second readings. A lot of these we saw at the meeting a couple weeks ago. The ordinance to amend a code 125 for wage increases, a Schedule A job classification. This is a grade level for a new position, transport officer for the police department. We talked about this at the last meeting. This is for an officer that is going to work on transporting the criminals from one facility to the next.
Yes, that is correct.
That passed tonight. We have an ordinance authorizing an amendment for a special use permit 2109. This is for AM and LB to allow for the renovations of a B1 zoning district for the property at 3575 Parker Spur.
Yes, that is actually the Phillips 66 at the right around the corner from where I live. It's the one at the Newhalls Ferry in Parker Spur, and they're going to make their inside lobby a bit bigger and everything as we saw at the public hearing in the last meeting. So
Right.
I'm looking
They
forward to
currently
that
have
as well.
3 service bays, and they're going to turn that first service bay into additional retail space.
Right.
The next one, ordinance approved for a final subdivision of the re-subdivision of the northwest quarter block, Old Town, St. Ferdinand, dividing the lot into 2 lots. The property located at 610 Rue St. Francois. And if I remember correctly, that's the case where the lot's being divided out, so the front half would be residential, the back half would be commercial.
Yes, that sounds correct. I believe so.
That passed in 3 tonight. We had an ordinance authorizing a special use permit to Bell Brown Enterprises LLC. They'll do business as Bell Brown Medical College. Small operation for a medical education facility on Howder-Shell.
Yes, that's correct.
An ordinance to amend a zoning code for a B5 rezoning. Properties proposed to be rezoned to the commercial district by the city's comprehensive plan. Now, you want to talk a little bit about these B5s and what those now allow?
Yes, if I remember correctly, I think they'll just from the last meeting. I kind of have a hard time explaining it, but from the last meeting, I think we were.
This was dealing with the Enterprise, the old Enterprise car leasing facility. That building right now, right? That's used as a kind of a residential commercial space.
Yes.
And by taking that and allowing B5, they'll be able to do more with it. I think the city was speaking to its ability to renovate that property and construct something new.
Yes, because it's currently zoned as residential and it's just kind of sitting there empty and nobody can do anything with it right now. So that was the one I remember now.
And then the final second reading tonight was an ordinance authorizing a transfer of $7,500. This is working with the golf course. We've got building maintenance and supplies. We've got a transition over for some course maintenance. We need to get some equipment repaired so that way the season can get started. The good weather's right around the corner. We've seen little spits of it, and hopefully it's about to set in.
Absolutely. I think this will be a good thing for it. We're making a lot of good progress with the golf course as well. So,
board appointments. Did you have any board appointments tonight?
I did not, but I'm hoping to have one by the next time. You
Okay.
know, so, but I personally did not today.
Are you looking for anybody to volunteer from your ward? And if so, let them know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, I'm always looking for people to volunteer from my ward. There are several committees, I believe, that don't have any or have very little Ward 9 representation at this time. And I think that includes, if I remember off the top of my head, the Citizens Participation Committee and the Youth Advisory Committee. And there are a couple others like that. I can always look them up for you. So if you're interested in volunteering, just feel free to give me a call. My number is 314-757-2594 or ward9@florissantmode.com.
Thank you. Tommy, let's talk about council announcements. The rest of this agenda was the bills for first reading. We talked about those because they were all public hearings.
Yes.
So what else is going on in your ward, Ward 9, and really for the betterment of the city? I know the BAR all passed.
Yes, and that's one thing I wanted to make a point of doing tonight was to thank the voters of Florissant for passing those because, you know, one of our biggest problems as council members, in addition to having bad streets and things like that, which we passed last fall, was, you know, a lot of people, they don't take care of their rental properties. The landlords don't care as long as they get their check every month. The tenants don't care, you know, because they don't have any ownership stake in it, so the property just, they let it go and go and go until it becomes dilapidated and it makes the whole neighborhood look bad. And these propositions, especially A&R, would give us the resources to kind of address those problems as a city government, you know. So we're very grateful to the voters of Florissant for being able to make that happen, as the mayor and the other council members mentioned tonight.
Excellent. What else is going on in Ward 9 in the city?
Well, I don't have a specific date or time and location yet, but I would like the voters of Ward 9, the citizens of Ward 9, to stay tuned for a ward meeting. I'm going to be planning one later this year,
Okay.
as soon as I can set one up. And as everybody knows, we have Valley of Flowers coming up in
Yes,
early
we
May,
do.
so that's something we all look forward to always. So
Plant your flowers,
Yeah.
cut your grass. Let's make the city look beautiful and be ready for that.
absolutely, yep.
Good. Tommy, appreciate your time here. We went through the agenda. I think we actually went through it pretty quick, but covered it well. Hopefully the residents got a good clue on what was going on here at tonight's meeting in the city of Florissant. So again, thank you for your time, your dedication to the city.
Great, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for watching. I'm Russell Inman. This has been Council Action. We'll see you next time.